There's one thing that's going to make all the difference in your police promotion process, and it's not the things I normally talk about: structure, detail, authenticity, emotional connect, making sure you answer the question. It is value, because you're going to be interviewed by someone who's a lot more senior to you, and they're going to be thinking one thing. There's one question they're going to ask themselves throughout your board, and it's not whether you are good at recycling phrases from the wheel of confusion. It's something completely different. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you about what that completely different thing is and how you can start framing your answers to make sure that you are delivering the exact thing that's going to give them every reason to promote you, and make sure that your interview is the most memorable one out of all of the ones that they are conducting. So welcome to this video. My name is Brendan from Bluelight, and over the past 30 years now I've been doing this. Yeah, you heard me right, 30 years. I've been helping to support people for the promotion process, and over the past decade or so for the recruitment process, with a huge amount of success. But don't just take my word for it. Check out the Trustpilot reviews below. You'll also see reference to other people's names: Raj, Andrea, Catherine, Jane, and others. They are part of my awesome team of coaches. Combined, we've got over 200 years of coaching and management experience within the police service, all the way from inspector to chief superintendent. We have got an awesome, amazing team. And what we do is provide people with one-to-one coaching, small group webinars, loads of online material, so we can actually guarantee that you pass your board. If you don't, we'll give you your money back. How about that for a service? Check the links below, by the way, if you want to find out a little bit more about that. All right, let's dive in. So one of the things I think everyone gets a bit confused about in their promotion board, and this is where I think a lot of people come unstuck, because they're approaching their board as something where they think their job is just to tick off loads of boxes from the wheel of confusion, from the competency and values framework. And to an extent, there is an element of that, because there will be a marking guide, there will be criteria that you need to meet. And I'm not saying that we need to ignore that. What I'm saying is we need to embrace that, but that's just the foundation of you making sure that your interview answers are the best there. One of the things we want to do is to get them answering this question in their head, because you think that all of these senior officers are aware of the CVF and are competent in it and understand it. No, they're not. They're not. I mean, we do coaching all the way up to chief superintendent, and we've got superintendents who do the boards for inspectors, and they've no idea about the CVF. You know, they follow the marking guide, but it's all very subjective and fairly irrational at times as well, some of the decisions that are being made. And so one of the things that we can do is to make sure that we answer this question, because this is the one that's going on inside their head. Can I see this person working on my team? Can I see this person adding value to my team? So it's not just about, can I see them working on my team? Because they might be like, yeah, they fit in. But that's not giving them a compelling reason to pass you on the board, is it? But if they can listen to you and get hooked into your interview answers in such a way that they're sat there thinking, this individual could add amazing value to my team. I'd be an idiot if I failed them. I'd be stupid if I failed them. And that's the key thing. And I think that's one of the things that we forget when we're developing our answers. We've got the great structure, detail, emotional connect, authenticity, making sure we actually answer the question. Yeah, I get all of that, and that's the foundation. We've got to have those things in place. But once we've got those things in place, start thinking about what your value added is, to give them that compelling reason to promote you. So that, look, let's be honest here. You want them looking at that marking guide thinking, I'll just nudge them up a mark or two, because I really believe in them. I really want them to get promoted. I really want them on my team. So even if your answers aren't that good, even if your structure was a bit all over the place, or some of the detail fell apart a little bit, or whatever the problem was, that can be counteracted by you delivering an answer which demonstrates that you can add amazing value to their team. So some of the ways that we can find out what those value added things are. I mean, I'll just give you a little tip actually from our promotion academy. This is something that we do when we first meet with our clients. So we have like a roadmap call. We don't just get stuck straight into one-to-one coaching. We have like a roadmap call where we look at where you are now, where do you want to be, and how can we support you to get there. But one of the tasks that we'll give you is to go and speak to a senior officer. So if you're going for if you're going for PC to sergeant, sergeant to inspector, we would advocate you go and speak to the superintendent or chief superintendent on your division or borough and ask them this question: what is it that keeps you awake at night? What's the one thing that keeps you awake at night? Because if you can address that thing in your interview board, then you're going to nail it. Now, you're going to say, oh, yeah, but that person's not interviewing me. Well, what do you think they've all got different worries? Or do you think they've all got the similar worries, or perhaps the same worries? Because these are the things that the chief or the deputy or ACCs are asking them about all the time. So if it's sergeant to inspector, we want to be asking chief superintendent that question: what is it that keeps you awake at night? Similarly, I mean, that's very transactional. So, you are making sure in your board that you're including those things, and that it's an open playing field, I think, when it comes to up to inspector. Now, depending on the size of the force, from chief inspector and above, you're probably going to get interviewed by an ACC or a deputy. It depends on the force, of course, but chances are they probably know you because you're in a temporary role. Chances are they probably know you. So this board, no matter how unfair or fair you might think this is probably about them confirming that you're the right choice. So the board is to confirm that you're the right choice. We know this. Look, we know this from in our team, we've got people who were chief superintendents. We've done our research, we've got our contacts within forces, and we know that for certain roles, certain positions, certain ranks, certain promotion boards, the DEP or the ACC who's doing the interviews has probably decided who they want, or there's a pool of people. So if there's 20 people going for a chief inspector, let's say, they'll probably have an idea that there's 10 of them who I've got my eye on. And it depends on the size of the force. It's probably going to be smaller than that, but they've got their eye on like half of those, and the other half are going to have to work really hard on the board to persuade them. Now, you might be saying, screaming like, that's not fair. Well, welcome to the police. You're in the police already. You've had more than several years of the police service. You know the game. You know what it's like. And whether you think it's unfair or not, it doesn't really matter. The golden rule kicks in. Those who hold the gold make the rules. So what we advocate there is that you go and speak to an ACC or the DEB and ask them the same question. If you don't mind me asking, what's the one thing that keeps you awake at night? What's the one thing that you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning worrying about? And if they're like, I don't worry about anything, then they're not being congruent with you, because they do. What's the thing that they worry about? Don't let them off the hook, because it's going to be things like culture, retention. This is a list from our promotion academy clients who've actually gone and done this. And we've got things like culture, we've got retention, performance, worried about targets being set and unethical behavior versus ethical performance, and how did they get the balance right, a lack of collaboration, trust from the community, and wishing that more of their officers would have the courage to do the right thing in bringing into account the bad apples in the force, because they've got too many officers awaiting misconduct hearings, and there's too many officers who are causing lots and lots of bad press, which then links in with trust. So those are the main things that they come out with. And so in your answers, do you think you should or shouldn't include those things? So whatever it is they're worried about, I would be drilling down on those things, even if the question wasn't necessarily related to that. So if the question was around something like performance, I'd be looking at ethical performance and how this has an impact on trust in the community, and also on culture. So whatever the question is that you're asked, I'll be bringing it round and linking it in with the one thing that they're worried about. Does that make sense so far? I hope it does. So whether it's forward-facing questions or rear-facing questions, add that value added. Make sure that in every one of your answers, you have a value added, so that they're sat there thinking, this is a little bit different. It's not the vanilla, plain, boring, wallpaper type answers that I'm hearing at the moment, because quite frankly, when we do our one-to-ones, our first one-to-ones with our clients, oftentimes the answers are really vanilla, really boring. They're not going to inspire me at all. Remember, you're trying to inspire this individual to believe that they should have you on their management team. So you've got to inspire them in some shape or form, and not just deliver what happens, people talk about just delivering all the things that are forced policy. Well, you're just demonstrating that you can manage stuff. I want to hear about how you can manage stuff and lead. That's what I'm interested in. It's the leadership that's the value added. So give them a reason to promote you. Give them every reason to promote you, and every reason for them to be thinking to themselves, I'd be an idiot if I failed this person. You want them on the edge of their seats. You actually want them to do a pen drop. So that normally they're scribbling down your answers. You want to get them to a point where they're actually stopping writing, because what you're talking about is so engaging and so interesting. And if you're thinking that will never happen, it happened about 6 months ago. The best example I can think of was one of our clients who went from fast track PC to inspector. They didn't get through the national stage, but they got promoted anyway. And the national stage let them down, but at force level, they were meant to have a 45-minute long interview. 45-minute long interview. It lasted about 2 hours. Why? Because what they were saying was so engaging that the deputy who did the interview ended it by saying, no matter what happens at the national level, I would like you to implement that idea that we talked about for the past hour. So it went from bored to value added. And that's an extreme version. That's an extreme version. But is that what you want? Because that's a guarantee of a pass, isn't it? That is a guarantee of a pass. Let me know in the comments below if we can help you. Check in the description if you'd like to join our academy or even consider it. And we'll consider you back. We don't accept everyone into the academy. But there's a form to complete. And once you've completed that form, we will then arrange to have an hour-long call with you where we'll look at where you are now, where do you want to be, what's holding you back, what you're struggling with, to determine whether we can genuinely help you. Because for some, you don't need our help, and for others, well, we might actually agree that you're not promotable at this stage and there's a lot of work for you to do. And if that's the case, we will point you in the right direction. Whatever happens, you will get value and clarity out of that call, and there's no commitment at all. We only want to be working with people who are a good fit for us, and vice versa. Make sense? All right. Look forward to seeing you on one of our weekly webinars. I run a Ask Brendan Anything for our academy members, and I'd love to see you on one of those at some point. Work with you to guarantee your success in the promotion board. Check the links below for everything that you need, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye for now.